Hello, Council Club. It is Thursday, March 10th. My little brother's birthday was yesterday. That's why I know today's the 10th without hesitation. Oh, here's Dawn. So we will just kind of hop right into it. As usual, there's no such thing as a silly question. We all kind of dive into the agenda and learn together. We'll start with a super brief recap of what happened at this past Tuesday's City Council meeting, and then look forward to what's happening on this coming Tuesday. So we didn't even really take too many notes as far as what happened at City Hall on the 10th because it was a super short meeting, like half hour.
20 minutes.
20 minutes. So they just rubber stamped it on through. No discussion on much. It was a short agenda anyway, but when it's a short agenda with no discussion, they just fly on through. So
one thing we were talking, oh, you're heading the notes.
Yeah, just
was that Senator Justin Wayne spoke about the sludge cake trucks, the trucks that transport sewage waste from the sewage water treatment plant. Anyways, he wasn't there as a senator, but he was there as a lawyer representing one of the construction or transportation companies that did not win the bid, even though they were the lowest. Anyways, that passed, and he is basically threatening to sue the city for some shady no bid contracts, or just the way the bidding process went down was.
Oh, that's new.
Yeah, but it was crazy how little discussion. Like they had an opportunity to speak about it on Tuesday, zero discussion. So
past 7-0.
We will see if that lawsuit is forthcoming. We were kind of wondering, even if could City Council, could they have postponed? I think that's what he was.
They
asking.
can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I think they just chose to say. I think they kind of like called his bluff on the lawsuit is kind of what it felt like to me. It's like, we'll see if it turns into a lawsuit. And then there was some back and forth the previous week when there was Jim Tyler from like the environmental department within Public Works was there talking about how they did test the trucks, and I don't know, it was a whole thing, but there was some kind of contradictions happening. And then
Jim Tyler said the trucks failed. Justin Wayne said they didn't fail.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, like that's something pretty simple. Like, did it fail or not? And you're getting two different sides. Yeah, so
it passed. We'll see. We won't really probably even know if there's a lawsuit because that won't be on the City Council.
And then the
fun fact about this Tuesday.
And the catalytic converter, I want to say catalytic, that's the way that Palermo says it. The catalytic converter, that got postponed for a week.
Yeah, it's on this agenda.
And it seems like they're talking to the scrap yards and the police to make sure that the wording is right. I have no doubt that it'll pass, but I don't know. It almost seems like for those that are paying attention, specifically people that are stealing catalytic converters, you've got one more week. So, yeah.
That's item 62, by the way, on this coming agenda. But we'll jump into Tuesday. Does anybody have anything else to add about last week's City Council meeting? That last week meeting 2 days ago this week. No.
So we've stopped going, at least for the time, but we don't go to the City Council anymore. But we watch it on YouTube, and if you wait for the live stream to be posted, and you can actually watch the City Council meeting or any YouTube video in two times speed, or like 1.5 speed,
sort of fast forward.
And so for the first like 10 minutes, all the planning board stuff, which we know is going to pass without any objection, we just put it on 2 times speed, and actually it was pretty nice.
It makes Larry sound coherent.
Oh,
that was what I noticed. I'm like, oh my gosh, now when Larry speaks, he sounds like I don't know. It's really funny. But yeah,
it's a little life hack.
That's a little hack for you. Yep. Sort of fast forward, just blast on through, because there's not going to be much discussion probably anyway. And then you still feel like you watched it. All right, we're going to just jump into what's happening on March 15th, this upcoming Tuesday at City Council. The first several items, as usual, involve some new planning stuff. I just pulled a few out. Number 10 is a proposal for a new development at 41st Ave in Hamilton, Hamilton Village, which will be senior living, 59 new apartments with almost as much parking. You know how I feel about parking. And also if it's like senior living, how about let's not continue to make them be reliant on cars? Anyway, of course, that probably won't be a problem. The next ones, 11 through 14, are it's a bunch of like replats and ACI, area of civic importance overlays, and conversion to CBD Central Business District. So that is all happening around Heartland of America Park, which is just northeast of 8th and Douglas. So if you have any feelings about what's happening down there, you can hop in and talk on items 11 through 14. There is some more development happening 30th and Mason for item number 18. It's another redevelopment. That one is going to be a 4-story multi-family unit or multi-story multi-family, 82 units, 50 parking spots. That'll be hearing and vote this coming Tuesday as well. So if you have any interest in those types of redevelopments or anything that could pertain to them, those are your opportunities to speak about them.
And there was no communication opposition, and the planning board approved all of them.
Everything is, planning board recommends approval. So generally we don't see a lot of pushback on this. Sometimes, this is where the NIMBYs come in, the not in my backyard, I have concerns about traffic. So I don't know, we'll see. I am not sure if we'll look forward to any type of testimony in opposition, but usually they just pass on through. Then 19 through 23 are all different special use permit applications. There were some for like car lots happening around like 90th and Dodge, I'm not Dodge, 90th and Maple. A couple different permit type things for, then this other one we were joking about previously, Lance Brown. We don't think it's the same Lance Brown that's with Nebraska Land Recycling, but some Lance Brown has submitted an application for a special use permit for small group living, disabled folks at 506 South 27th Street. So see what happens there. Once again, planning board recommends approval. More auto sales on South 97th, special use permit. So I guess what that usually means is that that area isn't zoned for the type of use they want to use it for, but don't think anything will be an issue there. We were kind of, we talked about this last week, how there was that bell issue, the church bell situation at the planning meeting, I guess last week, but it has not come up on the city council.
Yeah, because it's one of the few times that a planning board actually denied something. And not only that, but they, for those that didn't watch, I know some people that attend these planning board meetings, we actually got a 6-1 vote. Like the earth shook. We actually got a no vote. I didn't even think they were allowed to vote no. Like it was, but yeah. So the church bell got denied by the planning, but we don't know if if that actually is actionable.
Yeah, we don't know what the next step is on that. So we just kind of are, like we do, looking at the agenda to see if it pops up, because that one was kind of funny. The planning board was like, we're upset that you made us vote against a church. Like, well,
yeah, they're all going to hell, basically.
Yeah.
That's
See you there, Rosenbaum.
Why did they deny it?
It's too loud.
It was too loud.
And it was it would ring
too many times a day.
200 times a day. Like each individual, they counted each individual striking of the bell, and it was it was 70 decibels, which anything over 60 is considered a nuisance. And then the amount of time. And the neighbors actually showed up and had video. They played it for them, and they said like it wakes them up. It's not just used for weddings or the noon bell or the Sunday. They were literally using it as a clock. So every hour, and then at lunch, I think it struck like 20 times at lunch. And they were like,
so the neighbors were
you need to shut that bell up. They're like, we're thinking about like reorganizing the bell. They're like, you need to make it quiet. And the neighbors are pissed. And you could see them like, oh, we really don't like to be against the church. Like, yeah, it was funny to see them hand wringing. Oh, I think
so. They listened to a bunch of angry citizens, did they?
I know.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the meeting, Dewan. I think that was the meeting you were at.
It was
after. Yeah, it was after the meeting after
Yeah.
you left.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
it-
Yeah. I was like, I'm not staying for that bit.
And then they talked shit about you at the end. We already told you about that, but those jerks.
LOL. Can't wait. Glad I'm on their mind. I'll talk about that later. I have some
Yeah.
really exciting developments.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll keep moving then. So 24 and 25 liquor license requests. One's for a Family Dollar, which
They sell booze?
I guess they're wanting to. And then
What location?
let's see, that's items 24 and 25. So South 36th Street.
513.
Yeah,
real
pretty
south.
far south on,
So it's like
on
Palermo's
36th
district?
Street. Yeah. And then the other liquor license is an addition request for an outside space at a El Rancho restaurant on 20th and Martha. So that is it in the liquor license department, which is good. I feel like there's usually a ton. They just hand out liquor licenses like candy. I guess back in the day, we were talking about how there were like a fixed number of liquor licenses for the city of Omaha, and you could only get one if, you know, there's only a set amount. So somebody either had to die or go out of business or something for you to get their liquor license. And now it's just like, you get a liquor license and you get a liquor license. Anyway, Family Dollar, apparently they're going to get a liquor license. Okay, 26 through 32 is consent agenda. This is the third reading, so they will just probably vote everything on through. We've already kind of gone through everything that was on that. 33 through 61 are consent agenda resolutions, so there's an opportunity for public testimony on Tuesday. Let me see, what did we have for notes on some of those? Item 34 is, if you're into glass recycling, $22,000 for cleaning and storing Ripple glass before it heads down to Kansas City. 35, you know, I always pick out ones that involve like traffic and I mean, again, I don't go anymore, but if one wanted to talk about how we don't have money to make crosswalks, you know, have paint, you could talk about how they're spending $85,000 on pavement markings. That's item 35. Then there were some interesting ones involving, you know, we've been paying a lot of attention to like the parking department lately because that's what's going to fund the streetcar, hypothetically. And so items 37 and 39 are both to their agreements with Passport Labs. Item 37 is for license plate recognition hardware, $62,000 to Passport Labs. And then item 39 is $515,000 to Passport Labs for mobile app, credit card fees, and citations. So a bunch of different fees. 195,000 of that goes to enforcement fees. I don't really, they didn't have too much detail, but 170,000 for mobile pay fees and 150,000 for credit card fees. So I don't know.
Do you think somewhere in the budget it shows how much the city makes on parking meters? Is there?
I
It's got to be
bet the
somewhere.
parking department would have a
Has that
budget.
number?
Yeah.
And is it hundreds of millions of dollars?
No, didn't we talk about that? I feel like maybe it was a mode shift call, but I feel like we were talking about how the parking department doesn't make millions of extra dollars, that they're like, what are we going to do with this? Oh, let's fund a streetcar transit authority. So no, I you know, that's yet to be determined if that's going to work or not, but they're saying that they can make it work. Along the lines, I'm going to skip around just because this one kind of has to do with parking. If I can find it. Item 48, 40 grand to Walker Consultants for engineering services on the Midtown parking garages. So basically what this is going to do, we're hiring a consultant team from Minneapolis. Doesn't seem like maybe the most efficient way to go about things, but whatever. And they're going to look at 3 different garages in the Mutual of Omaha area, like 33rd, 34th, Dodge, Farnham, that kind of area. And determine which ones are dilapidated, which ones need maintenance, that sort of thing. So they're getting serious about parking garages. So those 3 items, I'll just kind of hopped out if anybody does want to talk about what's going on with parking, paying for the streetcar. All right. Oh, then there's item number 42 is $6.5 million to Vrana and Sons. They're redoing, this is actually a project that was in the CIP, the Capital Improvement Program. As we've maybe talked about here, the CIP is this document where sometimes if they want big investments, like capital improvements, like things that will last for more than 15 years, I think is part of what that has to mean. It'll be put into this document that's 6 years at a time worth of funding. And so this is a project at 102nd and I Street. There's the I-80 ramp right there. I looked into it a little bit. They're like moving some railroad ties and reconstructing that whole area. So 6.5 million into an I-80 ramp reconstruction. What a waste of money. Kind of strange to invest in Mutual's parking garage when they're about to move. Yeah, so this is all part of their hocus pocus scheme to like make everything worthwhile, keep the parking, and then just create a streetcar to take you parking garage to parking garage. So they're trying to get real about how many parking structures they have and how to most efficiently utilize the ones that are already in existence, and determine which ones should stay and which ones should go, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like all of it's a little shady. So at this point, we're just pointing out what we're noticing. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they determine after this, study, if all of them are worth keeping or if any of them are in rough enough shape that they need to be deconstructed or kind of what will be happening with that. So 3 different garages, we'll see.
Okay, so yeah, this next one, number 49, the city is selling property at 28th in Ohio for $1,100. Why not $1?
Yeah.
And I had to look it up. 28th in Ohio is where the bomb went off that they planted on Mondo and Ed. It's literally across the street from there.
Wow.
And so that area is like, it's the interstate I-75 or 75 highway. It's on the wrong side of it and split that. And there are so many empty lots there. Why not $1? They give Habitat 40 properties for $1. And they're making this person pay $1,000.
Yeah.
That's $999 more than they need to be paying, especially for that. And I bet you that's close to the red line area as well.
Oh yeah,
I have a red line map that I like to put in properties and to see. I feel like the city needs to get real about undesigning the red line.
They need to green line some stuff, and this would be a perfect opportunity to be like, oh, here, you know what? You can just have this.
Yeah, you get a special, free, or even give them some TIF.
Again,
micro TIF.
When we see, whatever. Anyway, it was just interesting because, as you're saying, a lot of times you'll see transactions between the city. Usually it's when the city, is selling to Habitat for Humanity for $1 a lot, and this is a lot more than that to a real live couple instead of a nonprofit entity. I don't know, it just seems like maybe not necessary. All right, let's talk about chemicals on golf courses. Items 50 and 51 is about $300,000 for chemicals for golf courses, fungicides, etc. Mark Brannon sometimes is on this call, and we feel like he knows more about, I don't know, maybe, is he with you, Alex? I don't know. But I was going to pull up these chemicals because I don't know anything about them. And I just always am like, why are we putting so many chemicals on these dang golf courses? Golf courses are a waste of water and a waste of $300,000 worth of potentially horrible chemicals. I don't know, just all sorts of stuff. But we feel strongly about golf courses.
Wow, that's trash.
Yep, items 50 and 51. Yep. And then item 52 is $126,000 for pool chemicals for the summer. Item 55 is $65,000 for dehumidifying the Elkhorn Common Grounds indoor pool. Holy moly. That sounded like a lot of money to me for just dehumidifying, but what do I know? And that's out in Elkhorn. More West Omaha money for parks. The Zorinsky Aquatic Center, this is item 57, they're getting their slides redone. So a $32,000 bill for slide refinishing. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. Like, we have these things, we have to maintain them, I suppose. I guess it's better than replacing, but like, dang, that's a lot of money for just resurfacing a slide in West Omaha. Makes me think about like what types of water parks are in not West Omaha, and do we have, I don't know.
Is there an aquatic center
in North Omaha or South Omaha?
East of 90th?
We got Elmwood Park, which took away their diving board. I don't know. Anyway, just always fun to see where the money goes.
I heard that that the reason the city's been installing like splash pads instead of pools is because like the pool upkeep is so expensive.
Oh,
And so I don't know, just seems somewhat pertinent to the conversation.
totally.
But yeah,
And lifeguards and liability.
yeah. Didn't they like close early last year because they couldn't staff?
Yeah,
Uh.
yeah. Yeah,
I
good
know,
points.
hotels are getting away from pools, because they don't want to, it's a liability. And it's just
Yeah.
not worth like the extra money.
Interesting.
I feel torn on like the chemical aspect of it, but I do love a good pool. So
Yeah.
And we put chemicals in our little hot tub, so it's not, it's
It's
part
just,
of,
again,
yeah,
interesting to
maintenance.
see where the money goes on
Yeah.
some of this stuff. Um,
We just need like really good bathhouses and saunas like they do everywhere else in the world.
yeah.
Especially in a cold place like this, to have like a bunch of saunas and really great hot tubs and steam rooms to just be like, keep me warm, help me sweat.
we used to have bathhouses with carbonated mineral water in them.
What?
Yeah, along Elmwood.
No, up north in the Saratoga area.
Oh,
And then also down at City Sprouts South, there was where City Sprouts South is now, there was a bathhouse like across the street from the GI Forum. Yeah, up until like the 1920s.
No.
amazing.
Yeah, it kind of reminds
See,
me.
I love this group. I learn something new every time.
So this past Tuesday, Donnie Johnson, who he speaks at city council every once in a while, usually has some pretty far out ideas, and he actually said, so he asked
Oh
for
yeah.
they asked for his address.
Going to space.
He lives up the street actually,
Yeah.
or his address is up the street, but he said that he's going to be in Mars in a couple weeks with Elon Musk, and so he'll give him an updated.
New
Anyways,
address then.
but his point was that we need paid toilets.
Mhm.
That there aren't enough public toilets, specifically by the baseball place, the convention center, and that when these tourists come to Omaha, they're going to pay. They'll pay $1 to use a nice public clean toilet. And it's like kind of interesting because I
What
definitely
was he speaking on? Do you remember what item it was?
it was something to do with tourism
tourism.
in
Yeah.
the convention
yeah.
center. So it was kind of on topic. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, he actually brought that back.
Yeah.
Like,
Enough on topic that they didn't call them out of order. Yeah. It's always
Yeah.
interesting to see how people do
yeah,
that.
bathhouses and public paid toilets.
Restrooms,
Yeah, public
yeah.
restrooms. Remember, there hasn't been a public restroom at the skate park, the Robert Skate Park,
Mm.
and so yeah.
Yeah, just public restrooms in general. They should not be a luxury. Anyway, all right, we're gonna keep rolling. Okay, 100 item 58 and 59 is money for cars. It's my favorite. No, it's not. We are going to be purchasing 5 new 2022 Ford Explorers for the fire department, the tune of $150,000. And then item 59 is $35,000 to convert one cop car so it's ready for a K9 unit. Just like that's like $35,000 just in upgrades. And I nerd out and I look at like the line items, and it's like I think it was like $900 for the like the dog cage. I don't know, whatever. It just seems wild how much money the police spend on things that aren't really helpful. Okay. Speaking of not helpful, another mayoral appointment, item 61. So this is an appointment for the Omaha Airport Authority. And I mean, it won't surprise you to probably know that it's a wealthy white man from West Omaha, who is replacing Willie Thiessen. And so it's going to be Eric Keene, who is the CEO of HDR. And so Scott dug in a little bit and realized that
It actually started from the planning board, because I feel like the planning board, even though there aren't districts like the land bank, you have to have one representative from each district. I think that's the only board that has district requirements. And so I kind of thought, especially looking at the planning board, I was like, where do all these people live? Like they seem to have a certain flavor to them, and especially because they're appointed by the mayor. Sure enough, almost all of them live out in Westo. There's only one that lives north of Dodge, Sydney Franklin. She lives on California Street. And again, this is all public record. Whenever they apply to these positions or these boards, they have to fill out a resume, and that's part of the agenda. And so I went back and looked at all their resumes. And so for the the planning board is mainly all, and I would suggest most of the mayoral appointments, she's going to appoint people that live in West Omaha and are Republican leaning. And sure enough,
Here's another one.
so the Omaha Airport Authority is only 5 members. 3 of the 5 members live in District 6. None of the members live in District 2, where the airport is. So we have an airport authority where that the closest members are on 96th Street, I think.
Yeah, because not only none in District 2, none in 1, 2, 4, or 7.
Yeah,
Right.
they're basically
So
all
they're-
all grouped together in 6 and 5, District 6 and 5, which is where Mayor Stothert lives. And what else? Oh, one of them lives outside of city limits, which I'm not sure is legal or as part of the, it seems like, I don't, yeah, I didn't want
Are
to
they
go.
using a business address?
No, so that was another one. One of them did use their business address on the resume. So they filled it. I found an error on their resume from a year ago, not going to matter. But one of them lives on the west side of Lake Cunningham, not in city limits. It's close, but it's definitely not in city limits. And I think that's actually the one African American. I forgot his name. But the rest, it's so that would be 4 white men and 1 female.
Yeah. So Sydney Franklin, the African American female who
So
is
that's
CEO
the planning
of
board.
75 North,
We're
The
talking
planning
about we're talking about the Airport Authority Board.
the Airport Authority.
So they're-
Okay.
it's
Who-
almost
It's the
identical.
same-
and there's only 5 people.
Correct.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the one where there's no representatives from districts 1, 2, 4, or 7.
And when
Wow.
Eric Keene replaces Willie Thiessen on the Airport Authority Board, there will be no members east of 90th Street. I think most of them live beyond the interstate. Again, all of them are 3 out of the 5 live in District 6.
Just wild.
And so, but I was trying to think, what does the Airport Authority even do? But you would think that you would want someone that lives near the airport or in the district that the airport, or just even in District 2, like we have.
Yeah, or east of 90.
So I suspect that it's going to take me a while. I'm just doing them whenever they pop up. But to take all of the mayoral appointments and to show where she's choosing them from, I mean, unfortunately, Sydney Franklin does not live in District 2. She lives in District 3, right close to the border. And I know that she works in District 2, but she is the token African American woman that doesn't live in West Omaha. And I have my suspicions that she's the only Democrat on the planning board. So yeah, it's kind of just like, I'm trying to show people that when you vote for the mayor, when you vote for a strong mayor in Omaha, you get these appointments.
everywhere.
Yes, we are a Republican. Yes, we are. I'm sorry, we are a Democrat. We are a blue dot city. But when you vote a Republican mayor, you get Republican boards and West Omaha boards that don't
Reflect the city.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's wild and not terribly surprising.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything we can do about it either.
No, no.
Add it to the list.
Well,
Like sharing information.
she can be recalled.
Yeah.
That's always a possibility.
This is
It is a task,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
But how things are lining up right now, there's a very serious clash and rub with the people. Folks are not happy about a lot of things.
Yeah.
We have very prominent examples, but all of it is with inflation currently and how we're seeing that translate into gas prices, and with the evictions increasing and the governor continuing to refuse ERA funds. And we are coming to a critical mass of the levee breaking. And in doing so, I think it's important that we recognize the only people who have the power to change things are us. Truly, because if we say, well, they won, then they did. You know, if you say, well, that's just how it goes, then that's just how it's going to be. But if we know it needs to be a different way, then it's up to us to determine what it is we want to do about it. And what's really amazing about Omaha, I say it's 1 degree separation. What is our superpower are the amazing people in this room, and everywhere around us, our neighbors, our friends, the people who bring us back here, the people who take care of us when things are crazy. And as they get crazier, we're going to turn to each other more and more each day. So in doing that, I think it's important we have some vision. We need a little vision here because things seem a little glum, a little glum, a bit doomsday, if you will. I mean, it's, you know, the world's in a war. People are dying from all kinds of things. Things kind of generally suck, but life is amazing most of the time when you've got good people and you got a community around you, and you have a culture that supports you. And what's happening right now with Mutual of Omaha and the library is a explicit demonstration of the city of Omaha, the government of the city, and the people within it. And it demonstrates value systems. It demonstrates interests that are contrite. And we're at a time where we have to choose what we're gonna do. We're about to sit back and watch some bullshit happen, or we're about to do something really to the best of our ability better than that. Because just this room alone, these are some of the smartest people I know. Honestly. Scott, Sarah, whenever I hear y'all speak, I'm like, oh, you know so much. Your wealth of knowledge. I'm so grateful that you like do this with your life to understand what's going on, because we need that. And when we understand their language, we're able to redirect it and channel that. Because I'm tired of fighting. I'm done fighting, y'all. Y'all, I'm exhausted. We've been fighting at least for the last 6 years. Whew. And I'm burnt out. Because I'm 27, about to do 28, and I feel like I've been here for an eternity, y'all.
Mm-hmm. I feel that.
So instead of fighting, let's move against the current. That's what Omaha means. And I see a way to preserve the Dale Clark Library and convert it into a transit station and community hub, while inviting Mutual of Omaha to build their tower on the currently owned Lanahaw real estate property that is 2 blocks over. that is ready for development, has been wanting a tower there forever. They said they can do it there, but they just don't want it. They want to put it in the middle. And the issue is with that, but with the mayor specifically choosing to allow that, not even allowing, but like ensuring that it happens, is surrendering public space, a cultural center, literally the heart of Omaha, and giving it to a corporation that has its legacy is at the exploitation of the city. Fundamentally, it's insurance. What's insurance based off of? Fear of the future. And so you create that uncertainty, you speculate it, and you drive it up, and then you offer benefits that you slowly take away over time while raising prices, and then you turn out record profits, and you do it over and over again until everyone's dead. And we can't, that is a dark spirit, if you will, that if we allow to take our heart, will literally darken and overshadow Omaha. The proposed tower would physically overshadow the park. and most of downtown. And it would not, in the first floors would be parking garages. So not retail, not communal space, not any of those things. But that I don't even care about those details, because it starts with the surrender of our space that we could easily turn, because what's amazing about the Dale Clark Library is that all the buses already run around it. They already go there. Most of them go downtown or within like 3 blocks. The orbit and the proposed streetcar would go right there. With it being a public project, investment in that, plenty of TIF, it's qualified because it's all public investment. If the whole project would be qualify as a public investment, the city and with partners, including Mutual, could make an investment in it and converting it into a station that is the cultural hub and center and hubbub and the co-working spaces and the flexible things, basically all the language they've been using. But an office building specifically doesn't do that. And the size and the scale and the way that is being done against the community, it feels against, because it's literally like, yo, you're just doing it. You didn't talk to nobody. And then when we say, hey, listen to us, she's like, I can't imagine how anyone would be opposed to this. And you're like, honey, because you're not listening. We're listening to you and you're not listening to us. And when you do something against or people, it creates a tension that is only going to become more harmful. So all of that to say, I have a document, some information, really cool renderings, if you've seen my Instagram story, of using machine learning and sketches and keywords to generate just like, what could this look like? And we're collaborating with people to spread the idea that, hey, this is our space, this is our building, this is our Omaha, and we have to say something, because if we don't, it will become something that is no longer shared. So I'll conclude there.
You've already got such just vision, Dewan. I don't want to poo-poo any of that, because I think that you're awesome and people like you need to exist, and I'm just so jaded. I'm like, it's already a fucking done deal and it doesn't matter. But I don't want to really say it doesn't matter, because I do think that there are still ways to continue this conversation. One of the non-action items, so that means, if you read beyond on this next upcoming agenda, item 78 is talking about the Mutual of Omaha's TIF application, $62 million in TIF. So that's been laid over till March 29th to advertise for public hearing. So if anybody wants to, plan around speaking, that would be the day that you would do that. So March 29th, because there's not going to be a meeting on the 22nd. So the 15th is the upcoming one. They're skipping the 22nd, and then the 29th will be when this 62 million.
And was that mutual TIF request, was that the planning board that Dewan spoke at?
There were,
Yeah.
there was two. There's one for the housing and multimodal urban core baloney redevelopment plan, and then the other one was for this mutual TIF proposal.
So that was it the first Wednesday of the month? That was like the planning board meeting was a week or two ago.
Yeah, it's the first Wednesday of the month.
And then they got it to city council super quick. And then usually when they put TIF items on non-action, it's usually they'll lay it over for about a month, specifically to advertise for a public hearing. This one is laid over 1 week. And I've never seen a TIF application move this quickly from planning to the non-action to we vote on it in a week. Like
well, they're not going to vote on it. It's going to be
Okay.
public hearing on the 29th, and then the vote will be.
it's still the
April,
quickest
but yeah.
from the way that they're pushing this through.
Well, and that is a point that has been brought up. And I know, Dewan, you and I talked about this the other day, but like the rush on this project is suspect. Like if everything has to be in full speed ahead, fast forward, like maybe it doesn't seem like such a good plan. And especially given the state of the planet these days and prices and delays and all of that, like it's just completely unrealistic. So we may as well come up with another not very realistic plan. I'm going to stop saying that, Dewan. You go get them.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. I think that's kind of what's going on. It's like your guys' thing is like really fucking crazy. So we're gonna come up with something that's like a little less crazy. It makes a lot more sense and kind of and uses the words that you just use.
Yeah.
But just like shuffled around a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to be antagonistic. I already had my like, my emotions. Now I'm coming back like, sis, here's the plan, because this one's raggedy and it won't serve you.
Yeah, it's certainly not serving.
Mutuals aren't as cool as they think they are. They think they're like super hot shit, and they're like all the kids want to work there, but we like totally don't. So
And I mean, even just the whole like, let's build a 46-story office building when people don't work in offices anymore full time. I don't know. There's just so many pieces about it that are just wild. I'm just reading the chat. Wouldn't be surprised if it's just to tear down the library to remove the homeless. Then after it's gone, Mutual will decide to build a hot lot. Yeah, I mean, that's actually, it would not surprise me if she's just trying to, out of sight, out of mind, right? Don't
But
worry
I mean,
about
they're-
those unhoused folks.
They're asking, I mean, they've already gone to the planning board and it got approved 6-1. We did get the 1 no vote. But then now they're asking for 62 million in TIF. And I believe at the press conference with the mayor and Mutual of Omaha, they said that people don't want to walk 2 blocks to the UP site, that's too far from the streetcar.
Right.
That they're already going to be walking 2 blocks from, is it Harney or Farnham? I forget. But I don't know.
did they really say that?
Yeah, so this would have been the Stothard when they first announced it,
The
right
press
after
conference.
they moved the library, or they approved the library being moved to 1401 Jones.
Mhm.
That press conference,
There's
I'm
a
almost
lot of
positive they
ideas.
said, yeah, we know the Lanahaw site, but it's people don't want to walk 2 blocks, or
And also, don't worry that 1401 Jones is only a few blocks away from transit because it's an easy walk. So it's like, pick one.
Oh,
Either
yeah.
of these, like,
oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so much further,
right.
and with like no infrastructure, really.
Right. That
Like
was
I walked from the library because that's where I got off the bus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And walked down 14th Street and past the,
Loading dock.
it's past the police station.
right.
Yep.
Right. And it's
And
completely surrounded
it's-
by loading docks. There's not sidewalks.
yeah, it's not at all designed wheelchair accessible. So that's the thing. Like
I know.
there are some really obvious, like, that's not right things that if you point it out to anybody else besides the mayor's office, they're like, yeah, we probably shouldn't do that. But a lot of people are just kind of like letting it slide because there hasn't been a better plan. It's more just been like, okay, some people don't like it, but like, what should we do instead? A lot of these folks need to be led, obviously, and they're easily led, obviously. So I feel like if we
led by people with a lot of money and power.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of money, but we do have a lot of influence because we know a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we're pretty friggin' smart. So like that, I don't got fat checks, but I got a mad friends list, and there's a lot more of us than there are of them, just to be frank.
Yeah.
And they do get really shaky when like, ooh, there's a lot of people here. And I'm talking about a lot of people here, not just some people, a lot of people, and not just coming to say I hate this, but to say, you know what, we should do this instead.
There's a better
We should do this instead. I think we should do this instead. And this is why we should do this instead. And then you're just like, damn, like we have a lot of people who have brilliant ideas, and they're all here to say something right now at this time. And what will happen after that, who knows? But it's just an idea to like, we've got to do something.
Right. Also in the chat, just out of curiosity, does it take much to start a recall effort just to get under her skin? Could one be started every month with almost no effort until she either gets voted out or expires?
It's like
I think
30% of the signatures.
yeah.
And so was it 30,000 last time or 15? Let's say 20,000. So you need 20,000 signatures to start the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
And then remember there was one, was it 2 or 3 years ago because of the potholes?
Oh yeah.
And I remember following that person on, or whoever it was, on Facebook, and they got put through the ringer.
Yeah.
They basically bowed out before. There's some, I mean, definitely some people that hate her, but she definitely has a loyal following.
Yeah.
And not only that, but man, she is just so beyond criticism that she doesn't listen. And also, I mean, unfortunately, you know, Palermo, he said it at city council that the Dale Clark is going to be knocked down. And this is before we've even we're going to move the library. He's like, the Dale Clark's coming down. Like that isn't even up for discussion according to
Wrecking ball.
Palermo.
Yeah.
And Palermo's not necessarily, he's not the worst. And so when he's saying that, I think he's kind of saying like, there's nothing we can do. I mean, besides like, I'm thinking of like, I had friends that were part of Earth First that chained themselves to trees, and basically camped out in a tree for a year or more to keep a tree from being knocked down. And so anything short of
Chaining yourself. To the
literally
Clark.
chaining yourself to the Dale Clark.
Oh, did you hear the architect who designed it died today?
Oh wow.
I was like, probably because he found out they're gonna knock it down.
Wait, really?
Yep. Just
What's
passed
his
today.
name? Do you remember?
East of 72nd put it on their Instagram.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I
know,
need to
Thought that was
I
kind of
need to reach out to his family. I need to know as much about it as possible because I like what's happening right now is that they're speaking as if things have already happened, but nothing has really happened. Papers have moved, people have shaken hands, people have patted backs, people have nodded heads, people have maybe written a check or two, but that's on you, honey. That's not my plan. That's not what's going on here. And I feel like I know we're better than that. And Jean, Jean, her and I have hung out a few times. Quite a few times. And what I notice about her is that you need like speak clearly and directly to her and avoid inflammatory language, whatever that means, as much as you might want to use it. But if you say something directly to her, she does not know how to act because she has a hard time relating with people. I'm served on LGBTQ advisory board as well as the urban design review board for the city, and also as a reporter, and I've covered her and I've done press conferences and things. And but she's influenced. She is influenced. So if you can influence the space around her, things move differently. I found that like if you try to go directly to her and say, this is what you need to do, she won't listen. And I feel like as a mayor, you kind of have to do that at some points because like there's a lot of people trying to tell you what to do. So if you influence the folks around you who are more willing to listen, like there are folks in planning in the planning department. I've talked to folks around lately in Omaha who care and who are concerned and do want to do something. And it doesn't have to be an us versus them thing. And I think redirecting it from being like it's the people versus Mutual of Omaha, which it is, but making it more about this is what we can do together as a community. It makes it, if they choose to be adversarial, it's them revealing that opposition rather than being subjected to it. So this is just my thoughts.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'm sure. I'm just wondering if like maybe Roe will vote against it because he's like the only person who's voted against TIF stuff, I think, right?
It was casino.
The
Casino tip.
Yeah. But I mean, again, on the 29th, they're going to be hearing not voting. That'll happen next, but the public hearing for the 62 million in TIF for Mutual will happen. So I'm just wondering if there will be much public pushback there, or if people have just kind of realized like, oh, you can't influence.
And it's sad because I'm pretty sure the Dale Clark 215 South 15th Street used to be in District 3, but this past redistricting, it just switched to District 2. And I mean, when the City Vultures, the Crystal Tower that's one block behind it, or to the west of it, Councilmember Johnson was excited about all those jobs and all that TIF money going to District 2. And I kind of feel like, she's gonna be excited about having a new corporate headquarters in District 2 when so I don't know, like you said, maybe Roe. But I feel like Rose was, I don't know if he's anti-gambling
Yeah.
Or I think he just kind of saw the writing on the wall, being like, "Oh, we're about to give literally the people that suck money from our community, we're about to give them more money." So I don't know. I see very little opposition to it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I love Dewan's optimism, and it's inspiring, and it's interesting comparing this whole debacle. So I do put the streetcar, library, and mutual they're all wrapped together. Kind of comparing this to the Governor Ricketts fucking lake that he wants to build. I mean, it's more absurd and more stupid, but it doesn't seem to be as a done deal. And I don't know if it's because Ricketts is pretty much on his way out, as opposed to Stothard still got 3 more years to.
And it wouldn't surprise me if she runs again.
So that's where I am focusing a little bit of, or my energy is to not getting her not a fucking 4th term, for fuck's sake.
I am kind of interested in that recall idea because I think that there are so many people who are so sick of her.
Yeah. Now, I mean, now's the time, especially when shit getting out of hand like it is right now.
I know.
You know?
Like, and I feel like a recall would get her attention.
That would be the real goal,
Honestly.
The goal would
But
not be
I wouldn't want to do a recall right away, but I'm thinking with this. Oh, hear me out. I'm thinking with this, there's an opportunity to say, hey, as a community, we come together to talk about that and send it to council members beforehand. And I just got invited by Riverside Chats to talk on that about the library. I'm writing a piece for for Examiner, Free Press and Noise, that'll come out with these concepts and a lot of just like laying out the details, being as plain about it as possible, and be like, this is what's happening. Because a lot of people just don't even know what's happening. They just heard something. They just heard that there's going to be a tower, library's going away, that's it. But if you lay out the details, a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's stupid. And so a lot of people just don't know. And so if you know, and then what do you do about it? Well, here's what we're doing. And here's what we propose. I also just reached out to, Reimagining Civic Spaces. They're a national organization that does a lot of like public space advocacy work. And they just posted about how a forest park was saved from demolition and stuff like that. And I was like, sweet, well, let me reach out to them and see how, it's preservation. And I started looking for grant funding. And so it's just like, if you put together a better plan that the people like, and a lot of people show up and really stir the pot, and there's still no real conversation, I really just want an actual real conversation. And if that doesn't happen, then respond with like, yo, we gonna recall your ass then. Because we came and we tried to be diplomatic, and we wanted to bring and be cooperative and really say, hey, this is an opportunity to shine together, and you're really not about it. So we propose, then you need to leave, because now you're actively working to our detriment, and you proved it to the public.
Yeah.
Lately, it's just been kind of like low-key antagonistic, kind of do your own thing. Don't stir the pot too much, keep taxes low, hire your friends, but don't advertise it. And just kind of let things roll. The building's ugly, no one goes there anyway. So then it's easy to just kind of glide. But if there's something that the people like and know about and are advocating for, and there's a lot of them, and you say no, because that prompts people to be like, well, then we about to remove your ass. And to watch the public narrative change, like in the news, ooh, optimistic new project. Oh, that sounds cool. The mayor says no because she wants to be mean. Oh, that's terrible. And we're going to vote her out. Then that gets things moving, because I'm done waiting. It's either you helping or you got to go.
Yeah. Well, I will be fascinated to watch this all unfold. And yeah, thanks for your, again, optimism and ideas. Never short on that.
You want to ask Mark about the fertilizer?
You're here.
Oh, Mark, you missed our talk about Mark Brennan. I don't know if you put the kids to sleep already. Thanks for joining us.
Yep.
So the golf courses, they're spraying a bunch of fungicides. I'm not sure if you had a chance to look at the agenda items number 50 and 51. $300,000 for chemicals. fungicides. I don't know. You're the only person I know that really understands fertilizer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we spend way too much on golf courses overall. I mean,
Period.
there was the rental of the golf carts the previous week.
Yep.
Uh,
300
Gas powered, no less. Couldn't do electric.
The golf courses absolutely overall need to be part of the climate action plan because they contribute just an inordinate amount of runoff in the watershed. That's because they apply indiscriminately,
And there's no
And-
buffer zone.
and especially and if you look at where the city golf courses are located,
Mhm.
Benson Golf Course is on Coal Creek.
Mhm.
Elmwood is at the bottom of the watershed. Johnny Goodman, even out west. I mean, like they're all because that was the marginal land that the city. So, the flood prone land, and so they're all just they're you
Yeah.
get the front end cost, and then we're also paying on the back end costs to filter this stuff right back out. So it's
So it doesn't matter what fertilizer it is. It's the fact that it's being applied in a waterway. That's the issue.
and with no with no control over no oversight over how and when.
Yeah.
I mean, you can more responsibly apply
That's a lot.
killer chemicals.
And so I feel like
That's only one of the pages. That was the short one. That was the 46,000. Now I'm going to pull up and screen share for the 250,000 list.
Actually, we were talking about that. Sarah, are you showing the total that we spend on golf courses?
No, just
This
this.
is just for, this is just about 300,000 total. The other one was like 46 and this one's 257 for just chemicals for the, so this is the big,
Wow.
I mean, you can't even, I think if you keep scrolling, then there's like, you
This
can
has to be in the budget.
Additionally, like when this isn't golf courses, but when we hire people to bid out our public right of way. So if you're thinking like on Maple Street between 90th and the interstate or Saddle Creek, any of those areas in Saddle Creek, right? So the bid out, the specs say that not only do you have to apply these chemicals, you have to apply, and they have a certain list of so twice a year they spec it out, but there's better and it's all herbicides, like that. And if you look at the medians, the weeds are still there because there's weeds that are resistant to those herbicides. Okay, so it's like we want a immaculate lawn in between there, but it's never going to happen. So there needs to be, and also like you could structurally change it all to where it would be more cost effective. Like you look at the median on 72nd Street, north of Crown Point, all the way to the interstate 680. There's trees and there's a lot of more native plants, and note there's no the maintenance of that year round or like on a yearly basis. Even taking in the installation cost is way cheaper like in the long run for all of us, and then also it's a better city. Like
that makes too much sense.
I mean, I thought, or I had this weird connection with expensive gated communities that are adjacent. I guess in Florida, usually there's gated communities that have a golf course built into the community. And now that I'm seeing they're like
where Stothard lives.
Does she have a golf course in her back? Or
that's where her husband,
okay, there you go. But now like it's just so funny to be like they're spraying all these chemicals, and so I would imagine that there'd be higher rates of cancer if you live near a golf course. It's going to be an interesting sort of turn when we realize, these are now cancer hotspots. And not only that, but then I would imagine all the people playing golf are even getting more exposure. So how great is that?
And
not to mention the workers applying it or working in it, growing it.
Everyone gets a fungicide treatment.
Yep. I know. I think, and this is one of those things where, yes, it is, public hearing is on Tuesday. I'm not going. I don't think it's worth my time. But if somebody wants to go and speak about how this is not good. I mean, we talk about, we want to have a climate action plan, and we talk about, things, and then it a lot of times doesn't
And so
back up our actions.
the only time that we don't say never go to speak at city council or planning, but if your name is not on the agenda, so unfortunately, I think Mark Brennan could literally school them on these chemicals and has such great things to say, but because his name is not on a golf course, they don't have a Mark Brennan, golf course that I know of,
Yet.
they will be like, kick sand, like they don't care. The only time that it seems to matter for specific public engagement is if your name's on the agenda, or if it's like literally maybe you're next door, like going back to the church bell, the neighbors, they were able to show video from their front door of how loud the church bell was. That seemed to have an impact, but even for like the library and the streetcar, like none of our names are on the streetcar. Yes, it is Omaha, but they just seem to like, they just have blinders on when it comes to public engagement, or we all kind of end up feeling like Larry, which just sucks.
Yeah. Oh, yep.
Well,
All right. Well, that's a happy note to end things on. Okay, I will
Hey,
say.
Erastus, I would like to clear up. I'm not related to her in no way. It's not spelled the same, so don't even. It's Brannon versus Brennan. That cut me deep.
No
And
relation.
my future political career is just done because that stupid lady.
Oh, good times. All right, what was I gonna say? Oh, if you do go to City Hall, even though the city council doesn't listen to you, sometimes the media picks stuff up, and or other folks who are watching it from home. So again, I did freak out and say it's worthless and no one should go, and then I was like, I don't want to tell other people to not go if you want. I'm just not doing it anymore because it makes me feel worse. So.
I'm like, dude, the media likes us, because especially the new folks they've been hiring lately, they're like these young kids who are all like, ooh, I want the scoop. And so they're on Twitter and they're paying attention.
Yeah.
I was thinking about reaching out to Mayor Quentin Lucas from Kansas City.
Yeah.
And having a conversation with him about I mean, a lot of stuff Omaha does is like what Kansas City's already done, but we don't do it as well because we don't talk to anybody.
Well,
whereas Kansas City is like really kind of thoughtful.
Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City's got a streetcar and it's free.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not going parking lot to parking lot, right?
I don't know actually about that one. It's mostly through their business district, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know. Let's have some fun. I'll hit you guys up, and if anyone's interested in talking more about library stuff, I dropped in the chat a link to the document we're working on, and I'll put my contact information if you want to give me a call.
One more. Let me put this one more nail in the coffin of the library. So I've been researching redistricting, specifically changes in polling places, and I have a list of polling places from 21, and then the updated list, they just updated it like last week, and I've been doing a comparison to see where polling places are moving, where and who's being impacted the most. The first one that popped out was a W. Dale Clark. They are removing that as one of the 20 polling places removed in all of Omaha, and it's not because it's not. It's because they know there's not going to be a building there in November when we vote in the primary. So we said demolished. They thought it was going to be demolished in September.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so they've already removed that polling place. It's now going to be the Courtyard Marriott.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Yeah.
No, ma'am.
That's
Scott, you and me about to have a call.
I know.
No, ma'am. I'm not going to this grave silent. Let it be known. Let it be known. And I'd be damned if people are voting at a Marriott. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
No.
Yeah, that was great work with the precincts. That was really, really good work.
Yeah, so they just put out their new polling place assignments, and I can tell that Douglas County elections is on Twitter, and I can tell just by their tweets and their press releases that they're listening to what I'm saying, because like, this is like, and they're scrambling, but it's still not good enough. And one of the things that I just discovered was Unfortunately, District 2 is going to be the most, I use their terms, inconvenienced. They're changing 20% of their polling places, which is the most out of any district.
Yeah, so Duan, like this is, you could hand, if you do know people in the news stations, like this is a ready-made article, ready-made story for them, where they could get Scott's graphics and then interview people in the district saying, how do you feel about, you've been voting at this place for 45 years and now yeah, exactly.
And before I came to you, did you even know about this?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and there was a tiny little postcard that got mixed in with your ads on Wednesday,
Yep.
and so you didn't see it. Exactly, Russ. We need, so like that's the connection.
Did that change right before the primary?
It's changing right now, slowly,
Yeah.
like
The primary
as we
is
speak. Scott, like
What?
that's the thing, like
They voted on
It's-
the redistricting and the re-precincting at the very end of the year. They waited to the last minute and pushed
Yeah.
it through. And then now we're seeing how they're just now determining the polling places and how
Wait,
that
who's
all-
they? Did council? Is
The
that
election.
county commissioners?
Yeah, and actually, so re-precincting is slightly different than redistricting, and we actually do not vote on re-precincting. And so I've been going down this rabbit hole of trying to find the last time that Douglas County has had a Democratic appointed election commissioner, because right now, Pete Ricketts, the governor, gets to appoint the election commissioner. He just appointed,
A mortician or some shit.
well,
right?
no, but in Sarpy County, the twin.
That's dark.
Slama's twin. And so that's the
Oh,
kind of, that's what we get for our election
That's the
commissioner.
caliber of who draws
then-
these lines.
And then Douglas County, yes, we have the mortician, now election commissioner. And I've gone back to, I cannot find,
The time.
what about when Ben Nelson was governor?
okay, so yes, he did appoint, whenever we had a Democratic governor, they would then appoint a Democratic election commissioner. But it needs to, the key point is it has to happen during redistricting. And so if we didn't have a Democratic governor
At that right time.
at the 10-year, when the census is done and when redistricting is done.
Yeah.
And so the last one I found, I think was in 91. She was appointed 2 weeks after redistricting. And so, so close.
So Scott, can you just say, so there's redistricting and re-precincting both happening right now?
No.
Will both, they're done.
It's already done. Yep.
And so they're both in effect for this upcoming May 10th primary.
Yeah, re-precincting was complete in October, and then redistricting was complete in December. So yeah, it's already
I
done.
agree with Mark. I think this is a really good story to cover because
No one knows. Like,
no one knows.
Yeah.
I didn't know before you just mentioned it.
yeah.
No, and I'm starting to calculate how many people, again, using their term, are going to be inconvenienced by having their polling place changed.
Disenfranchised.
When I
Yes.
found an article from 10 years ago, when the same thing happened in North Omaha, they called it a disaster, and that it basically, they said in the article that people were confused and decided not to vote.
Yeah, so it's, we need yeah, to be honest, yeah, variety of news outlets need to be
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
My
attempted to read. That should be a goal for Council Club. Get it on NPR, get it on First Guy, get it in Noise, get it in KT on KTV. Like, heck, let's just give it,
We can,
figure it out.
And that's a lot of times when we tag team stuff, he does the graphics and I do the words, and we have, so I think that's kind of where we're going with this.
Hey, send it over. We can work on a combo thing. I know Preston's gonna have something to say.
Yep.
And then as far as like the direct interviews, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people who can do that. Because there was a meeting just tonight that was hosted by the city in North Omaha at the Black Men United Kimani Center, and so that's a whole group of people who are activated, who are already paying attention to what's happening in City Hall with the sale of North Omaha. So like that combined would stir some shit for sure.
Interesting. Lori, do you know what station you you can't call. Okay. So you're saying that there was a tease for this exact issue already on a station today?
Yeah, and I'm sorry I don't remember which one. It might have been the NBC affiliate because I watched Jeopardy. but I can't remember. I'm not for certain that's when I saw it. But yeah, they were talking about the redrawing of the precinct lines, and like even in the teas, they just had this sentence about, voters are or not necessarily. They said something about critics are saying that the communication around it has been lacking, basically. That the way the election commission is letting people know about it is ineffective.
Yep.
Was the gist.
That is my drum that I am beating.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I know. And thank you for doing that. It's great work.
Yeah, so this morning I came down. So I actually have my little yellow postcard saved from just 2 years ago. I'm like, yeah, so what I was looking at was to see at what size font do they print your polling place, because I don't think it's ADA accessible.
Oh yeah, no, on that tiny.
They print it so fucking
Yeah.
small that you throw it away because it looks like junk mail.
Right.
And they had this, and so I was like, I wonder if we could sue them from or make an ADA complaint. So that's one of my other, just to make their life hell.
And we should, I mean, yeah.
And to make them do a better job,
Well,
and to
that's the
get
whole
people to
thing.
vote.
Yeah.
So I do feel like voting's still important, and
Well, and you're seeing voter suppression all over the
Yeah.
fucking country, and this is just like another sneakier, quieter way to do it. I don't know. Yeah. Good times.
do we have something fun to end on?
No. Does anybody have something
Okay,
fun
we're
to
gonna
end
bring
on?
a dog.
Yes.
I got like 2 people registered to vote, which is very exciting.
Nice.
Because if you turn 18 by the general, you can vote. And
How about just don't worry about
Got his
showing him
little
his
toe.
cute
Okay, okay,
dogs.
okay,
We're listening to Noemi, who's influencing voters.
Yeah.
I'm influencing voters. If you turn 18 by the general, you can vote in the primary.
Ah,
And a shit ton of 17-year-olds do not know this. So
nice.
tell your local 17-year-old that they
So
can vote.
You're my only
What's the
17-year-old
date
Maybe are you
of
18?
the general?
I'm 16. The general is November something. I
And
don't
so if
know.
you turn 18 by November, let's say 4th, you can vote in the general, in
The
the
primary in
in the
May.
primary.
Wow.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. There we go.
Nice. All right. The youth.
Wow, Lori did it, or Lori's
Youth
daughter
are
did it.
saving us.
There you go. Sweet.
Awesome.
That's great news.
That is great news. That's a happy thing
Oh,
to
I'm
end on.
sorry.
Anybody else have anything else positive while we're
There's a-
recording?
There's a cute dog on my screen.
Hey.
It picks up seeds from the Common Soil Library. It's Common Soil Library, which is a program through the Omaha Public Library. I picked up 15 packages of free seeds.
Heck yeah.
Yay.
Nice.
Well, I guess then I'll also amp up the seed share on March 19th from 12 to 4 at Fabric Lab.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, super. Where is that? Can you drop the information in the chat?
Dewan, can you drop it in the chat?
Yes, I can. Let me grab the link.
Thank you very much.
And while I'm doing that, fun
Love
thing,
everybody.
Jocelyn's gonna be on TV, local musician representing Nebraska on American Song Contest or something like that. Basically, like they're trying to make their own Eurovision with all the states, and yeah, so we have a really cool, awesome young person from Nebraska representing Nebraska on national television. So it's cool.
That's a good round of good news, everyone. Nice work. I think that is where we should hit stop, because I don't think it's going to get more positive than that. Are you looking up something that's important to share? with the
Yay,
group?
Omaha is cool.
Yay. All right, I'm hitting stop recording, and then we can talk amongst ourselves.